way through the front seats and getting ready to tackle this rear bench seat for the Blazer, and the frame has been prepared the same way. A little bit easier to deconstruct this seat because it wasn't, the foam wasn't molded into the springs. It's just sitting on top of the springs, so it came apart pretty easy. We didn't destroy the foam getting it apart, which is a good thing because I can't find replacement foam for it. Not that I've made any phone calls. I was just kind of half-hearted looking because our foam's in decent shape. So I think I'm going to stick with what we have. Now we sandblasted doing the pressure washer sandblasting method like we did the other ones, and then coated these with the POR paint. And now we're going to have to take them back apart, take the top off the bottom here so we can cover them, and we'll do that now. All right, I think I'm going to start with the bottom, and I don't know why, but that's as good a place as any, I guess. And here's our cushion, and the top is, like I said, pretty good shape. A few imperfections here, but it's pretty sound. It doesn't seem to be all that crumbly, and you can obviously see where the seats, the springs have kind of nestled into the foam a little bit. And I think I mentioned it earlier, I bought some more burlap. I got it black in color just so it would look a little better. And I'm gonna spend a little bit of time here trying to peel up as much of this old burlap as I can and get it cleaned up, and then we'll glue that fabric, the new burlap, to it, give it a little bit sounder base to glue to if we get this old burlap up. And I'm guessing by the way this burlap is embedded in this foam in places that they must have started with the burlap when they molded this foam. They must have started with the burlap on a flat surface or in the bottom of the mold, and then injected the foam, and it kind of embedded itself. The burlap is embedded in the foam in places, and I'm going to leave that intact. I think I'll probably try to trim this back, but I don't want to dig out big chunks of this foam just to get the burlap out of there. I don't think that's necessary. I just really want to get as much of the really loose stuff off as I can, so I have a good spot to glue the new burlap to. All right, I don't know why these grooves are in here. I can't see any reason where the springs have pressed this groove in here. And with the way the burlap was molded in there, I think it was part of the original mold of the foam. But I'm going to try to fill it in a little bit. So I cut some of this green foam that I have, that I bought at Joann Fabrics, and I'm going to kind of cut it to length here. Not going to be a perfect fit, but that's okay, I hope. So 3 pieces like that, and then I'm going to use, I bought this at Joann Fabrics as well, clear foam adhesive. I used it on the front seats, and it seemed to work really well. So I'm going to put these off to the side. I'm going to really lay it in here kind of thick in this groove. Stuff's kind of stinky. Put some on new foam. Acts like it's sputtering, like there's not much in there, but it's 3/4 full. Well, that's interesting. I wonder if it's lost the straw on the inside. All right, now I'm going to cap all that off with this piece here. I'm going to take a Sharpie. All right. Trim this back a little bit. All right, I'll see if I can get this covered pretty good. That's the nozzle out of my Super 77 sprayer. All right, I'm going to spray this as well over here on another table. All right, let's see. Burlap. I think I got 2. Oh, I can't remember. I think it was 2 running yards is what I got, what I bought. So it should be plenty to do the bottom and the top. Let's get this kind of a rough cut. I like how that edge of it right there is all bound. That's pretty nice. It'd be kind of nice to have that all the way around. All right, well, it looks, this has got a seam or a crease right here in the middle of it, and I think I'm just going to cut it right down the middle, and that way I'll have plenty extra on both the top and the bottom to trim off. I am going to try to utilize this edge here, and let's see, it's the front of the seat. I think I'm going to try to use that bound edge right along the front edge there, and then trim the rest back as I need to. All right, what I think I'm going to do is I'm going to move this foam off to my other table over here, and I'm going to saturate the whole thing down with that glue. And I don't want it all over my cover here that I'm working on. So I'm going to do it on a separate table. And actually, what I might do is set up another table and do it outside, just so I don't have these fumes in the shop here. So let me get that done. All right, sprayed that side up really good in the field and double around the outside edge. So, and I haven't sprayed this burlap, so I'm going to try to do it without, see how it sticks, and this might be difficult. All right, pretty straight edge there. Well, it's stuck. I don't know that I'd peel it back up. I might try the top side, the back a little bit different. But I think it's, you know, obviously once it gets squished between the springs and we get the cover pulled on it, it's not going to come loose, but I think it could be stuck better. Let's trim around the edge. All right, let's see where it was loose here, and I put a little extra on the burlap. Yeah, I think that's going to be better. So what I think I'm going to do is work my way around the edge of it by just peeling it back a little bit and squirting a little bit on the burlap, letting it tack up, and then pushing it back down. Again, it's going to give us a good strong edge. I think the moral of that is, or the lesson here is, just like all contact cements, you need to do both sides. You need to coat the foam and the back side of the burlap, or the mating surface of the burlap, before you stick them together. It's stuck pretty good though. All right, let's look at the top of it here. And there are a few little voids in the foam. I was thinking about putting some of this polyfill over the top of it, and just gluing it to the top. But the more I look at it, the more I think that's going to be more of a problem, or it's probably not necessary, and it might cause problems or be harder to put the cover on it. So if we look at the cover here, it's pretty thick, and it's got padding in it already. So I think minor voids in the foam like this are not going to come through and be visible in the fabric. The top part of it, the back, has got a little bit more of a void, and we may want to rethink that when we're doing the back. But right now for this bottom, I think we're going to just go with the cover that we have. Now there's no places in here to put the wire in, like there was on the front seats, because we're not hog tying this or hog ringing it to pull any shape in the seat. There is the pockets for it along the back side and around the front, to help us with the hog ringing it to the bottom of the frame of the seat. So we'll have to deal with that when we come to it. But right now I think we can just flip the cover over and start working it on the foam. All right, let's get the frame and set it on the frame. All right, we've got one listing pocket that goes all the way across the back here, and it's longer than my wire, so it'll have to be done in a couple of pieces. And then along the sides, around the corner, and all the way across the front. So that, I think I'm gonna just do it 3 pieces. I'm gonna do one long one across the front here, and then 2 side ones. And I'm not going to worry about making these bends with that wire, because when you obviously if you bent the wire to fit where the material is now, as you work it around, I don't know, maybe I'll make a short bend. Yeah, maybe I'll make this one long enough to start here and kind of go around the corner here. You guys aren't really in frame, so maybe you don't know what I'm talking about here, but if you bend the wire so it fits on the outside of the curve, it's the big banana, small banana deal. Once you move it to the inside of the curve, it'll need to be a sharper curve. So, I mean, this stuff's flexible or bendable enough, but I'll be able to adjust that. So, I guess that's what I'll do. I'm kind of thinking out loud here. I'll make it come around the corner here. You can see where the attach points are, and I think you want to try to catch a couple of hog rings in this corner with the wire here to make sure it's nice and firm in the corner. So, yeah, let's do one long wire here in the front, and then a shorter one on each end that kind of goes around the corner with a curve in it. And that'll should cover all the bases. Luckily, I've got a ton of this wire, because I've certainly used a lot of it, a lot more than I thought I would have. So when you go to the welding store to buy some, get a bunch of it. Yeah, no cut in that one. Sewed on both ends, so. Oh, you know what? I need to bend the ends to keep them from poking through. It's a beautiful Saturday, it's fall day here in Georgia. We got the Georgia football game coming on here in a little bit. It's an evening game, so kind of fun to do this stuff while you're listening to the game. At least the kind of mindless stuff that you don't really think about too much, but the fact that it's an evening game means I'll probably go inside and watch it. That's shorter than I want. I think I'm going to put 2 in there. All right, that should more than cover it. All right, let's go around the corner here. Wish I knew what I was doing. Let's do another one like that on this end. Let's see, we got to get the long one in there somehow. See if I can work it around that corner without, oh, I think I can, without putting an extra slit in the listing pocket. Just trying to work that long wire in without having to cut another hole in the listing pocket. And it did, it went right around there with no problem at all. All right, it's good. Let's do this one. Still aren't seeing what's going on, are you? Just working it around, bending it a little bit while it's in the pocket here, sliding it a little farther in, and then kind of shaping it as I need to get it to go around that corner. Let's start doing some hog rings. Okay, I think we should start in the middle. This looks like it's the tightest stretch right here on the back side. So I'm thinking I'm gonna do one up front and then stretch the back and then work my way out to the ends. All right, well that was easy on the front. Let's see what the back yields. Get a screwdriver and straighten out that rod a little bit. All right, the problem is I'm having a hard time getting the hog ring to go around this bar right here, the rod that they have welded in for the hog rings to attach to. There's a piece of sheet metal that all the springs are up against. It's actually the anchor for the springs, and the jaws just won't fit in there enough to bend the hog rings around. So I'm going back to my safety wire method, at least to get me started, and see if I can switch back over to hog rings after I kind of get this stretched up to where it needs to be. All right, that's tight. It's very tight. Not too difficult to roll some more underneath there. I think what I'm going to do is hog ring along the top edge of this, and then work the back end. Alright, that's pretty solid. Now I think I'm going to try to figure out how I can pull this back. I'm going to flip it over and kind of work it that way some by hand. Yeah, it goes pretty easy. Rolls right around there. Yeah, not far to go there. Still don't know if I can do it with a hog ring just because of that structure and the way it's made. Aha! All right, I shut you out for a while because there was some severe cussing going on, and I've decided to go back to the all safety wire method because I I think maybe this would be easier with two people and some help stretching this thing, but boy, it just gets brutal on the material when you're pulling it in one spot. And I think this safety wire method, oh look, there's my help right there. The safety wire method, you can kind of cinch it up a little at a time on each spot, and it doesn't put as much stress in one area. So what I'm kind of doing now, I'm going to get about 8 or 10 of these spots going, and I'll cinch them up and work my way down. I got a good hog ring right here. It was probably my best victory. I think I'm going to be able to cinch it up a little tighter with the safety wire, and I'm quite certain that I don't have to worry about this safety wire coming undone like I do those hog rings. They seem a little barbaric to me, a little bit too iffy. Certainly been used for many years, so I'm sure they're fine, and the people that do upholstery work all the time are probably more skilled at installing them than I am, but how can you go wrong with safety wire? Alright, I think I'm going to put one more down here. Be a little easier if I had my bigger pliers. This 41 thousandths is a little bit too thick to be handling with these baby ones. Alright, I'm going to bring you in here a little bit closer so I can show you what I'm talking about. Not a perfect view here, but good view of Jetson. But you can see right here where the listing wire is pretty tight to this rod that they intend for you to hog ring it to, and then it kind of separates here. That's kind of the beauty of the safety wires. You can cinch it on up and pull it on tight, and I'll probably put another one right here to pull this tight, but you kind of work your way down, cinching them up as you go. All right, that looks pretty good. Let me put one more right here and try to pull this one up a little bit tighter. All right, that should be good and secure. We'll bend all these over, trim them off a little bit. They don't need to be that long. Ooh, look at that one, not even tight. Bend them over, make a little pigtail on them so they're not jabbing. All right, let's flop it over and see what we have. Oh yeah. All right, want to see the front? All right, let's pull the ends down and get those secured. Yeah, hog rings work all right when you can get right to them. Maybe I need some better pliers. One more. Let's see if I can get one more. All right, well, that's gonna have to do. Put one more right there, I think. All right, that'll have to do. Other side. Done. Beautiful. A little bit of a wrinkle back here. What's going on with this? All right, foam just had to be pushed up in under the vinyl. Whew. I like it. Looking good. All right, let's get to that top. No fooling around, let's get right to work. All right, this is the back, and it's got burlap on it already, like the bottom did, but it's not in such bad shape. The burlap isn't, so I'm just gonna roll off this old foam with my hands here to get the loose stuff off, and then I'm gonna saturate the back of this seat, this foam. I'm gonna spray the burlap right here with the glue, and I'm going to learn my lesson from the bottom and spray a coat on the burlap as well. Stick the two together and let her rip. All right, all glued up. I got the burlap glued as well. Oh no, stuck it to itself. Ah! Okay. Got to be a better way. Yeah, that wasn't pretty, but definitely sticks better that way. All right, let's trim her back. All right, thank you, burlap. Nice. All right, let's look at the front now. We talked about it a little bit earlier. Here's the kind of depressions, and it's kind of interesting. This is where the fabric was torn on that seat back. You can see it there, matches up with the holes in the foam, or the indentions in the foam. So it was just the sun deteriorating that foam is what made those impressions in it. But what to do with it, I'm not sure about this crease. What caused this crease? Maybe it was the well, I don't know. Doesn't really matter, it's there. My seat forensics training has run out. Yeah, I'm not sure what caused that. Maybe that's just the way they molded the foam with that crease in there. But what should we do? Should we put a layer of this on it to try to take up the slack in these impressions? They're not very deep, probably not going to be visible through the padding that's on the seat back, the new vinyl. It's got foam embedded in it, sewn into it. This one has to slide down over the top. So I think by putting that polyfill over the top of it, that's going to make it extremely difficult to slide this fabric over the top of it. So again, I'm just thinking out loud here, and I'm thinking I'm gonna not put the polyfill on because I don't want that headache, and I think the foam here is gonna be thick enough to avoid any problem with seeing those impressions here. So not to mention, I think these little marks right here are probably from from Jetson pawing at it. All right, let's try it without it and see how it looks. So I think I'm going to turn this right side out. Now let's see if we can. I think we're going to try to do is scooch the foam in there, and then the frame. Slid right in there with no problems. Gotta square it up a little bit. All right, let's try to scooch the frame in there. Shoot, yeah. It wasn't so bad. Got a few wrinkles in the top of it here, but not bad at all. Make sure the foam's sitting on the frame right. Huh. not be. All right, I'm not real thrilled about how loose it is up here at the top, and it appears like it will tighten up some when we get it stretched and attached at the bottom. But I'm still a little nervous about it completely taking these wrinkles out. So now I'm wondering about maybe putting some of that polyfill up here in the top to try to stretch this out a little bit, fill this in a little bit more. Everything else looks pretty good. I certainly don't. I mean, I don't know. Huh. It might be just fine. But what do we got to lose, huh? Let's give it a whirl. All right, this is what I'm thinking about doing. I'm going to take this back outside so I don't have to smell the fumes in here like before. But this polyfill is pretty thin, so I'm going to start with, I think, just 2 layers, and I'm going to glue 2 layers on, and then I'm going to come up here another couple inches or so and do another 2 layers and just kind of layer it on up. You know, I might even put 1 layer over the whole thing and then layer it on up from about halfway to, well, it was pretty full in the middle, so just really up here at the top's where it needs to be. But I think I'll take it outside and just start layering away and see how it pans out. All right, there it is. I put quite a few layers on. I hope it's going to fit in there now and hopefully tighten up this top edge. I put a layer down first on the whole thing, and then you may be able to see it, maybe not, but from here up, I staggered them. I layered them. So I put the first one, another layer that went up to the top, trimmed it off, moved up about 1 inch, did another layer, another layer, another layer, another layer, another layer. So I don't know up here at the top how many layers there are, but there's quite a few, and hopefully that adds a good bit of bulk to the top. And then, of course, once I got all those layers on, I sprayed the whole thing down with glue and laid another layer on top of it, the whole thing, to kind of tie it all together. So, hey, let's slide it on there. Let's slide the cover on and see if we did any good. Now, I think I'm going to do it the same way. I'm going to slide the foam in first and then slide the back in after I get the foam in the cover. So let's get rid of this frame. By the way, that was just about all of the foam that I had, or the polyfill that I had. I had to go get another can of glue while I was, because I used up the glue that I had. So that was 90 inches by 108 inches. Quite a big, well, they say large for queen size or many small projects. So I used up almost all of that. I mean, there was quite a few scraps by the time you trim off the edges, and didn't use the material in the most efficient way, but I had no idea I was going to use up as much of it as I did. Still scooches in there pretty good. Now the frame. Ouch. Does feel a little tighter going in. Still looks pretty good for getting it to seal up or tight, whatever you want to do. Fasten up to the bottom here. There's one. Oh yeah, I think that's gonna work. Let's see, are we any tighter? Huh. Well, still a little wrinkly, but I think it looks fuller. This welt line looks straighter, and it does look a little fuller. So hopefully by the time we get it cinched up on the bottom, more of these wrinkles will come out. I think we did good. All right, got our wires made up. Let's get them slid in. Need some overlap with those wires. I don't think it really makes any difference. All right, we'll get this side locked up and then we'll flip it over and get that side. All right, last go with the hog rings here. There's got to be better hog ring players out there. Who are these made by? Becker's Hill Ringers is what they call this one. All right, I got a good bit in there, but I'm gonna throw some more in just because I don't trust these hog rings. I wonder if these things got their name from the tags they put in hog's nose. I hope I don't have to take them back out because there's a bunch in there. All right, now let's flip her over and see what we got to do about bringing the front around. Get our wire in. Oh, that doesn't look like it's going to be hard, does it? Get that one through both of them, front and the back. That one doesn't look so good. All right, where's that ugly one? Right there, I think. That one's good. Snippy, snippy. All right. Proof's in the pudding. Oh, that turned out great. Yes. Woo, so glad we spent the extra time to put that polyfill in there. Man. Squared it up, looks a lot more like the front seats, kind of square here on the corner. Oh, yes. Awesome. All right, well, I think just bolting it back together and then a little bit of trimming and fitting around. I don't know how this goes together, but let's put the top to the bottom. All right, these bolts, and it's a bolt and a screw that hold this thing together, and they were difficult getting out of there. So I've cleaned up the holes and I've used a little bit of anti-seize on them. Try to make it nicer for the guy that has to take it apart the next time. Maybe me. I hope not, but it may be. Anti-seize has seen better days, that's for sure. Okay, this stuff done right. Well, first thing, wash hands. All right, I thought I was done with the wire and the hog rings and all that, but apparently not. So it looks like we need to put another wire in here, and I think I'm gonna put it in straight and then bend it as I need to. So short wire, let's see, this is gonna be cut off, so there, let's say out there. Now I'll make 2 of these because I've got to do the other side as well. Slide her on in. Get my favorite hog ringer. Wire slid out. I'll put another one right there. Oh yeah. Nice. All right, now we've got the foot that mounts right here. That's gonna pull all that up, and I think there's 2 bolts. Yeah, 2 bolts that go right there for the rear foot. So let's see, how does this, let's look at that rear foot. Now I've modified this to give it some more structure back here and to create some tie down hooks in the back here. So these are normally independently, they are not tied together. Yeah, I think just like that right there. And a couple of hog rings right there. And then if I can get it in there, I'll have the same problem I had before. So I had to use the safety wire. Oh, I got a solid one in there. I think that's gonna work. Looks good from the back. Definitely looks good from the side. I think that's gonna be golden. All right, one more job for the old listing wire, at least the scraps. I'm gonna take it and warm this rod up and melt these holes for my screws. Let's see. Hopefully make it easier to start those screws. Alright, boy, that's a tough one to find. That one's got multiple layers. Tell you what, that'll get me started. And then I can use that bracket to show me where the holes are. All right, we have the armrest supports cleaned up and ready to go. A little bit dusty here, but they've been sandblasted and painted. And oops, matter of fact, you can see the sand come out of it. I don't think we're going to install these. I think it gets enough back support from the 2 bolts that are in the joint here, and I can't find these armrests without the ashtrays in them. And I think the way that we have our roll bar formed, we've created kind of an armrest on the inside of the roll bar. So I think this is just going to look awkward in there. Plus, I don't want to install them without taking out the ashtray and cleaning that armrest up somehow. If I could find those without the ashtray holes, I may work a little harder at putting these they're installing these, but right now I think I'm going to leave them off. All right, hey, good to get this project checked off the list here. It was a fun project, a little bit challenging in ways, but all in all, great results at a reasonable price, I think, and very, very satisfied with the way these seats look. Things I would do different, I'd probably invest in a good pair of hog ring pliers, even better than what I have. I think if I was planning on leaving the armrest off like I am on my truck, I would probably put a little padding on that mounting pad right there for that's where the armrest bars mount, and that would probably soften that slightly. But all in all, good results. Still waiting on some hardware to attach the seat back, so that'll be nice to have them on and completed. So hey, hope it helps, and we'll see you next time.